Welcome to Mimir's Forge. Today we are building a pretty battered Star Destroyer on planet Jakku. To save your lifetime, we'll skip the cut and glue to go straight to the interesting part. I fill visible cracks with some putty. I deliberately left out the shield generators on the bridge. These were destroyed by fighters in the Battle of Jakku, and New Republic heavy battleships finished it off, but more on that later. Here I remove excess putty. Over the years, scavengers have removed bits of armor and such. We are not looters, so we use a Dremel tool for this. The Star Destroyer is now heavily damaged, but that's not enough. With a candle I heat two nails. Both are sized differently to create the effect of larger and smaller weapons. The idea is that the enemy fleet was attacking on the port side. Therefore, I mainly damaged the port flank of our Star Destroyer. However, a few hits can also be found on the starboard side in. Without his shield generators, he was easy prey for the New Republic fleet. The upper decks also received heavy hits. I want some thin plastic sticks. I used the leftover plastic frames to make them. I used these to build the destroyed shield generator mounts. I'm quite happy with the result. Now I use some small polystyrene plates and thin plastic threads to create the interior of the Star Destroyer. To make a base, I use styrofoam and a thin MDF board. The MDF board is adapted to the styrofoam and glue it. For the terrain of Jakku, I make a mixture of plaster and sand and spread it in a thin layer on the styrofoam. The result was not sandy enough for me, so more sand is needed. First, I wet the ground with the PVA glue water mixture. Then I sprinkle sand on it. Lots of sand. I want the Star Destroyer to be nicely embedded in the sand. Partly, it should even be covered by sand. To do this, I press him firmly into the sand. Then I seal the surface with a mixture of PVA glue, water and some isopropyl. Before I glue the Star Destroyer to the base, I prime it with a light grey. Now he finds his place on the floor of Jakku. I glue it with a proven PVA glue. Our Star Destroyer has been there for many years, so the landscape is a little bit merged with him. I mix PVA glue with sand and water, and now I'm modeling a sand dune with it. There will also be a small dune behind the ship. Of course, after all these years, our Star Destroyer has started to rust. Here I highlight the hits of the enemy fleet a bit. We need more rust. The whole ship is now getting a patina. I use a mixture of oil paints and acetone for this. The more acetone you use, the easier it is for the paint to flow into small gaps. However, you can then no longer place them so precisely. Of course, we also take care of the bag. Here and there, I scoop up some paint with a cotton swab. Some places covered with the sand turned out to be too dark for me. I lightened this up a bit. I thought that one of the shield generators fell off the bridge during the crash on Jakku. I hope it rains on Jakku from time to time, because here I am depicting the outline of the ship as it appears through rain on the ground. I paint the edges of the platform black. After that, I'm happy with it. Imagine, you are an officer on the command bridge of a Star Destroyer. You know that the hangar is as good as empty. All of our starfighters are engaged in battles. You hear the captain yell commands. All turbo lasers, focus to fire enemy fighters! But a few enemy fighters break through and destroy our shield generators. Now, the heavy guns of the enemy battleships are pounding on the surface of our armor. The monitors show breakthroughs on several decks and counting. Sirens begin to blare. The port side is badly damaged. Some sections are pressureless. Your comrades in those areas have already perished. The hits increase. More and more damage reports are yelled at your captain. At some points, there are so many that several officers call out damage reports at the same time. But suddenly, the enemy ships let go of us. You realize that the ship can no longer stay in orbit around Jakku. The engines can no longer generate enough power to withstand gravity. Some escape pods have already launched, but you don't even have to set off. You know that you won't reach a capsule anymore. The captain is now silent. He looks from the bridge at his badly damaged ship. We are getting closer and closer to the surface. We are breaking through the upper air layers of Jakku. Your comrades in the damaged sections are exposed to scorching heat. With a deafening noise, our Star Destroyer crashes onto the surface of Jakku, but then it suddenly becomes quiet. Total silence. If you like the video and my little story, please leave a like. Subscribe if you don't want to miss anything new.